Greetings Exiles and welcome to my video. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're having a nice day, and if not, I hope it gets better for you. And in this video I will be talking about the things I haven't touched before, which is level up, the pros and cons of this build, and the changes, or rather the nerfs, which we received from Chris Wilson the God in 3.15. So what adjustments will be made and what not shit. So yeah, I just like to begin this video by saying one thing, that I don't consider this to be a build guide as such. This is just a build showcase of what I did and of what I just want to show that this is how I play the game. I made this build around this chess piece, and this is what I do in this game. I see some uniques and I try to make builds around them, and I love exploring the creative aspect that PoE has, and this is how I look at the game. And I'm not the guy who would min-max the shit, spend 10,000 exalts on one character, and that's not how I play the game. I mean, no objection to those who do. It's just not my trip, it's just not my thing. I enjoy trying stuff, and level up is not so slow in this game. It's pretty fast compared to other RPGs, and you can actually make and try out multiple things in one league, and that's what I like to do. So anyway, let's start with the level up first. I just leveled this character to level 94, and I think this is enough. All the showcase, all the footage that I have showed before of all the fights are around 93, 94, not more. I don't feel the need to go above and spend time or even more currency in this, because I accomplished whatever goals I had. And one more thing I wanted to show compared to, this. So this node has aura effect, this node has fire resistance. This is useless. This has increased armor. This is useless. And this is hierarchy, which is very, very, very nice for us. I've spoken about my anoint and the ailment immunity that we have. Now obviously this got butchered. We'll talk about it later on in the nerf hammer section. So 79% all res, 90% chaos res. We went to 90 because of the shield. So what this shield does is it gives 2 to all maximum resistances, which includes chaos. So this shield gives 2 to maximum elemental resists, and it gives 5 to maximum chaos res. So divine flesh gives you 5, this gives you 5, it goes to 85. And then I threw in 2 Born of Chaos small cluster jewels, so that took me to 90%. This is the amulet, this is the gear. Apologies for the noise coming from the chair. This is my amulet. This gives +2. This is the helm. I think I've shown this all in the POB before. One more thing I wanted to show was the flasks. I use, depending on which boss I'm fighting, I use 2 rising jar flasks on some encounters, some boss encounters. Sometimes I just use 1. Sometimes while mapping I feel like I want to move a bit faster, so I use a quartz flask for phasing, and the adrenaline flask. I know everything got butchered, we'll talk about it later on. This is how I used to play. And so while leveling, I use zombies. The usual necro summoner level up, and zombies summon raging spirits, and that got me to, I think, yellow maps. And after that I made the switch. All this while I had this chess piece, and rolling 4 red sockets on this int based chess piece is really, really, really hard. So what you do is, instead of using brutality, or instead of using melee Phys, you throw in minion damage support, and when you get 2 or 3 white sockets, when you get your sockets sorted, is when you remove minion damage and add in melee Phys or brutality, whichever one you swap out. Minion damage has a downside now, which honestly doesn't make any difference. Our minions are duration minions. If you keep killing and summoning new minions, they will refresh their life and duration anyway. So minion damage in this build is still good. Predator support, of course, is very important in this build in my opinion, because you end up going to there are some map bosses which have spawns and mobs around the boss. So you want to finish the boss first. So that is where you need this Predator support, and of course extra damage. Divergent Herald of Purity, just because I wanted some more cooldown recovery rate. Like I've spoken in the Theory Crafted POB video, we need to make our sentinels use Crusade Slam as much as possible. So we need to reduce the cooldown reduction rate as much as possible. You can get to level 30 because this gem is just 20, but nobody was selling the 21 level gem. I kind of got this pretty late in the league. So yeah, these are the rings. We get to physical damage reduction, 90% physical damage reduction through the use of flasks, but I don't think that is possible anymore because yeah, massive nerfs in 3.15. So instead of 90, we will get to probably 65, 70. That is one of the downsides now. So leveling was pretty easy. The usual summer level up path method is pretty much tried and tested. Now the pros and the cons. The pros are single target damage is amazing. It's insane. Even if you play Domblo with sentinels with Herald of Purity, you will notice that the majority of the damage comes from the sentinels of purity and not the dominating blow. Now what I have in mind with respect to changes rather than nerfs in 3.15 is that we'll reserve 45% mana because we're going to base our build around this chest piece. Pride is 37.84 and Dread Banner is 7.57. So we reserve around 90% to 91% of our mana, which leaves us with 95. One more bad thing that happened for us in this build is that second wind got wrecked. So our Void Sphere is kind of cut, and what I thought of doing was, since we are going the physical way, not converting our damage to any element type, we can add a Domblo 4-link setup, and instead of using this bullshit flask, we can add in an Enduring Mana Flask of Heat or whatever prefix you need. So basically an Enduring Mana Flask. When I played Domblo back in Harvest, I had an Enduring Mana Flask and I didn't rely on Mana Leech through some jewel or some item. I always had an Enduring Mana Flask, and it doesn't take too long for your Domblo army to build up and absolutely take over the map. Domblo is probably the minion which has amazing clear speed, which this build lacks, and you can cover up with it. What I did with this version is I restricted myself deliberately because I was testing out pure Herald of Purity. If I have to league start this build in 3.15, which I'm planning to, but I'm planning to try Absolution as well, then probably Absolution can be used in place of Domblo in this 4-link. I don't know. The only issue is Absolution is we don't know anything about it. We haven't seen anything, and it converts physical damage to lightning. So I don't know how their damage will scale. If we use Domblo, they benefit from Pride, they benefit from Dread Banner, and everything is just pure physical. So that is why I would prefer Domblo. And what I would get rid of is, I would get rid of Desecrate and Flesh Offering. I would put these three things in my alternate weapon slot, probably. Yeah, and probably say goodbye to Molten Shell. We'll end up with second wind, plain dash convocation here, and we'll probably use Molten Shell and a 3-link Domblo or a 4-link Domblo. Depends on how much damage they do. If I have to use Domblo, what I'll have to do is I'll have to take Spiritual Command and Spiritual Aid, so I'll lose out on some other points somewhere, some life points, or maybe I'll just have to push this character a few levels higher. But I think these nodes will be absolutely essential. Increases and reductions to minion attack speed, also effective. That helps us summon the dominating blow sentinels of dominance faster. And this is minion damage, so that we are able to kill enemies faster. We don't do damage ourselves, right? It's our minions who do the damage. But our minions are not summoned if we don't kill anything. So these two are very important nodes. And I think that's about it. The cons of this build are clear speed. Absolutely, it's pretty bad. Single target is very nice. Also, you can say that in the late 80s, early 90s, and early Atlas exploration phase, you won't have good defenses. So if you're careless, you will end up dying a lot. Apart from that, I don't think there are any other cons. And yeah, that's kind of it. That's kind of it. Let's check how much of a hit we took after Chris Wilson the God hit us with his NERF hammer. So this is my POB. So I don't know if you guys have seen the previous video or not, but previously our Crusade Slam did 6.7 million DPS. So we lost out on 3.4 mil. So now instead of doing 33 mil, our build does around 11-ish million DPS. Yeah, that's a bit rough. So boss kills aren't going to be as fast as before. But we'll find our way around this issue. Most likely I'll have to use, sorry, apologies for that. Mostly I'll have to use Dominating Blow instead of Void Sphere, is what I feel, because Second Wind got kind of wrecked, and that is how I will solve the issue of the build's clear speed as well, you know. So Domblo, if I use Domblo, I will link it to multi-strike and melee splash. It's insane, melee splash, how much of an effect melee splash has, it's crazy. And then I will probably use Impale as the fourth link. And if I think the damage is sufficient, I will use Molten Shell instead of Impale and just use a 3-link Domblo. And just another thing that I wanted to mention is the Animate Guardian buffs. So this is Garb of the Ephemeral. This is the buff from Arena Master, 20% increased damage and attack speed, cast speed, movement speed, I think. This is the guy, the one who bangs his shield. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, MS, CS, AS and damage all increased by 20%. This is the Power Charge Monkey, Frenzy Charge Monkey. This is Merveil's Retainer. And we have Fortify from the Kingmaker. This is Culling Strike, item rarity, blah blah blah. Victorious Flight are the boots, which we use on Animate Guardian, Movement Speed, Aura. And I think this guy has the Leocast Festival Mask, Hell, which is a damage aura. So that's about it for this build showcase. I hope you liked it, and I hope to find similar like-minded people the way I play the game is kind of different, but this is how I enjoy this game. I love exploring this skill tree, and it just amazes me how many things this game has. Every league I learn something new. I'd be really happy if some pro YouTuber watches my series on this build showcase and gives me his inputs. That will be great. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you've seen so far, please give a like, share, and subscribe for more content. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.